What's up, everyone? This is This What It Is? And I'm your host, Gunvid. So I have a great show for you guys today. You know, I got 3 fights that I want to talk about. And yeah, I'm kind of hyped for this episode because, the past few episodes have been, really fucking random. Actually, most of my episodes are random. But I have 3 great fights that I want to talk about, and let's fucking go. But before that, you know what the fuck time it is. It's time to smoke, motherfucker. Alright? I got a spliff. And, so yeah, you know what time it is. If you got a joint, light that shit up. If you got a blunt, light it up. If you got a spliff, light up. And if you got a cigar, light that shit up, motherfucker. I got a backwood rolled in a raw paper. And I'm about to get lit as fuck. Alright, so bet. So the first fight that I want to talk about is Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. So I'm gonna be honest, I wanted to be biased because I'm from New York City and I'm more of a fan of Edgar Berlanga. Just because he's from New York City and he's Puerto Rican, and I think Puerto Ricans are dope. But you know, I'm not gonna be biased and I'm gonna tell the truth because as an analyst, you know, I fuck around on this show a lot, but when it comes to fighting and sports and everything, I want to be a legitimate analyst. I want to tell the truth. I don't want to lie to people. So although I'm a bigger fan of Edgar, I think Canelo's gonna win the fight. I'm gonna just make that clear. But I do think Edgar has a chance. No one's giving him a chance. And even though I fucking predicted against him, I'm going to give my prediction of exactly how I'm going to see the fight going. But no one's giving this guy a chance. And he's been boxing since he was 7 years old. I saw the Pound for Pound podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo. And he did an interview recently. And he was talking about his journey in boxing and shit. And he's like saying how he's from the projects and his father got him into boxing when he was young. I believe he was 7. And, you know, this and that. And so, yeah, I want to give him a chance in the fight because although I'm predicting against him, I think he's a great fighter and he could knock out Canelo. He's pause. He's not a small fighter. You know, he looks much bigger than his opponents, pause, when it comes to weight and even height. But yeah, I think it's too early. He's 27 now and he got 22 wins, no losses, no draws, pause, and 17 knockouts. But his opponents haven't been on the level of Canelo, and I think that's really gonna go against him in this fight. Now, if you look at his last opponent before fighting Edgar, he was 18-0. I think his name was like Prague or some shit, some Irish guy. So yeah, that guy was 18-0. He was undefeated, but you know, you going from fighting a guy who had 18 fights to fighting Canelo, who's had over 60 fights. I think Canelo's record is like 61-2, like some crazy fucking record like that. But yeah, you know, fucking, you haven't faced the level of opposition that Canelo faced, and you haven't faced anyone as great as Canelo. Clearly, if you go on any website and see Edgar's record, you can see that he hasn't faced anyone with the experience of Canelo. And I heard him say something on that podcast, like something like, oh, like, you know, something like Canelo is gonna make him level up. And yeah, you kind of fight to the level of your opposition, but you're not gonna learn anything. I mean, what you're gonna learn from this fight is gonna help you after this fight, but you're not gonna go in there against Canelo and just like be on his level. I don't think, just because you're fighting him, you know, like you said, he's gonna make you level up. Yeah, I think he's gonna make you level up, but I think it's after the fight. Like, if you look at when Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, he clearly leveled up after that fight. His defense got much better. He was countering much better, much more sharper defensively. So yeah, this fight can help you as a boxer, but it's after, you know, like after sparring someone who's great. I've done a lot of sparring rounds, so, you know, I've never fought professionally, but, you know, I understand what you mean by that, but like I said, it's not till after this fight that you're going to get better. I think Canelo's going to win by TKO round number 8. I'm going to agree with Canelo. I think Canelo said he's going to give him about 8 rounds until he gets stopped. So I think maybe Canelo said he's going to stop him in the 9th. But yeah, I'm going to say 8th round TKO. I don't think he's going to knock him out cold, but I think he's going to get the TKO. Because I've watched a couple of Edgar's fights in preparation for this episode. So from what I've seen, when fighters pressure Edgar, he sometimes, you know, he kind of like backs up to the ropes and just keeps his hands up, and he kind of looks nervous, you know, on the back foot. I don't think he's used to doing that. And Canelo, although lately he's been really doing great with the counter punching, and you know, he doesn't really have to pressure. He doesn't really have to pressure as much. But I think he's gonna see what I see in Edgar's defense. That sometimes he'll start backing up and he'll get backed up to the ropes, and he'll go straight backwards. That's not good. It's not a good thing to do. You gotta angle off when you're moving away from your opponent. You gotta move at an angle. He sometimes goes straight backwards, and then he'll just like keep his hands up and then won't move his head. Pause. You know, like he'll just like keep his hands up and like fucking just try to block all the punches. And in general, I feel like he doesn't move his head as much, especially after he throws a punch. He's just like standing right there to get hit. And especially a flaw that I've seen in his defense is every single time that I saw him throw a punch with his left hand, doesn't matter whether it's a jab or a left hook, whatever punch he's throwing, he doesn't bring his hand back to his guard. And with the fighter who's a great counterpuncher like Canelo, that's a horrible thing to do. So I hope Edgar sees this episode and he fixes that. I hope he fixes that because, yeah, that could get him knocked out by Canelo because I know Canelo is seeing that. You know, he's a pro fighter. And, you know, my knowledge is high knowledge. So, you know, I see that too. So, yeah, that's a flaw in Edgar's defense. He doesn't bring his left hand back into his guard. You know, he doesn't pick his left hand up after he throws a punch. It just goes right back down, like, by his stomach. And, like, that's horrible, son. Like, and then he's talking about fight IQ in the press conference and on the podcast. And I'm not talking shit about you, Edgar. I'm just being honest. Like I said, I gotta be honest with the fans and not be biased. So I was gonna be like, yeah, fucking Edgar's gonna win and shit. And you know what I'm saying? He's tough. He's from New York City and shit. But I gotta be honest. And you don't set up your punches enough with the jab. When you do great. You throw a great 1-2. But you don't throw enough jabs to set up your punches. And that's not good with the fighter like Canelo, who's not just great with counter punching, but he's great with moving his head and keeping his hands up and fucking, you know, all that shit. If you don't set up your punches and throw combination punches, you're not going to be able to do much against them. You know, from what I see, you throw like you know, when you knock out your opponents, you throw a good right hook or a left hook even, or fucking whatever. But it's usually 2 punches. It's not 3, 4, 5, 6 punches like Bivol did against him. You know, when he fought Bivol, he was throwing 5, 6 punches, and it was the 5th and 6th punch that would land. And usually the first 4 would be like blocked, you know. So if you want to beat Canelo, you're gonna have to throw more combinations. You're gonna have to set up the punches with jabs. You're gonna have to not drop your left hand after you throw a punch. You're gonna have to move your head, which you never do. I never saw you move your head once after throwing punches, especially. You know, you're gonna have to move your feet. You don't move your feet after punching. You don't move away from your opponent after punching. You're standing right there waiting for him to drop his guard or waiting for him to throw a punch so you can counter him. But you don't even counter enough. So, yeah, you know, I'm not talking shit about you. Like I said, I'm being honest. That's my prediction for that fight. And, yeah, I wish you all the best. I hope you fucking win and this and that, you know? I hope you beat Canelo in the first fight, and then you have a rematch with him, and I hope you beat him. And then I want to give you props. You're talking about fighting Benavidez, and Canelo's over here he's avoiding him. So, yeah, I'll give you props for that. But, yeah, I hope you beat fucking Canelo twice, and then you beat Benavidez, and you become one of the greatest fucking fighters. But I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're going to lose to Canelo, and then you're going to take some time off and then get better. And we'll see where you go from there. You get this water, I'm going to lay up this fucking joint. And then we'll talk about the next fight. Pardon me, let me light up this spliff that I'm not able to enjoy because I gotta talk and break down these fights, but it's all good. I'm not complaining. And I'm gonna leave a comment on Edgar's page and be like, yo, nigga, stop fucking dropping your left hand and shit. You know, I'm gonna try to give you some advice, but you might not take it you might not take the advice because I'm not a fucking pro fighter and this and that. And it's like, oh, who are you for you to fucking tell me how to fight? But, you know, if you're watching this episode, you can clearly tell I know what I'm talking about. And I've boxed for many years, you know. Like, I'm not fucking just talking out my ass, pause. You know, I'm not just fucking bullshitting. I'm not just a casual fan. I really know this shit. I really know how to fight. I've been in fights on the streets where I had to defend myself, and I've done great. So, yeah. You don't have to take my advice, but it's clearly good advice, what I'm telling you. Fucking stop dropping your hands after punches, to move your head after punches, and your feet, and be smart, and this and that. So, I clearly have great boxing IQ. And that's no shade towards you. We all make mistakes. You know, it's a fight. There's nerves. There's this and that. But I'm just trying to help you. And, you know, I know you're cool with Fat Joe. And I dissed him. So, you know what I'm saying? I know him and all his friends and shit fucking hate me. But whatever, you know. And, you know, I'll even give a shout out to Fat Joe because I don't know his story and this and that. But, yeah, I made some diss tracks. And really, that shit is jokes. I saw y'all laughing. I saw Fat Joe and Nori and all them laughing after I put out them diss tracks. And I know you heard them shit. So, yeah, I'm not copping the plea. But I'm just, you know what I'm saying? You know what it is. This is hip hop. This is competition. And although I said some personal shit, I still want to give a shout out to Fat Joe for the great songs he made and paving the way in hip hop and shit like that. And all the rappers I did from New York City and some other cities. You know, I be talking mad shit, but y'all know what it is. It's hip hop. And like I said, I ain't copping a plea. You could fucking... I don't give a fuck, you know. I'm a grown man. I stand behind what I say, and I understand there may be people, you know, who want to fight me and shit. But I don't give a fuck. I'll defend myself. I'm a grown man. So yeah, just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so next fight I'm going to break down is going to be another boxing fight, and then we're going to move on to the UFC. So, whew. All right. The next fight that I want to talk about is Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. And this is going to be a great fight. I'm actually, I'm excited for this fight because both fighters are great fighters and both have shown that they have great technique. Both have great power. They're heavyweights and they can knock people the fuck out. I mean, honestly, I kind of expected Joshua to beat Ngannou, but the way he knocked him out was crazy. And he didn't just knock him out. He knocked him down 3 times, and the last one was a knockout. Vicious knockout. And his technique for that whole fight was just perfect. Picture perfect. You know? And I wasn't the biggest fan of Anthony Joshua, and I'm still not, because I think he avoided the Wilder fight. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe he didn't, but what I will say is I'll give him props. He's been fighting since he was a kid, and he's been in the gym since he was young, so I respect that. And he showed great technique in that fight and most of his fights, you know. So, shout out to him for that. So, my prediction for this fight, I'm going to break it down real quick. I think Anthony Joshua will win by 10th round TKO. And I'm not going to break down too much about that fight because I don't have to. I'll just give my prediction. And yeah, but don't be surprised if Daniel wins because he's a great fighter too, you know. All these heavyweights have a chance because, especially a heavyweight, they have more power, so it's easier for them to get the knockout. So you don't have to technically be a greater fighter to win by knockout. Because it just takes one punch. It doesn't matter what weight you're fighting at. It just takes one punch. So yeah, like back to the Edgar Berlanga fight. It just takes one punch, you know. You guys are counting this guy out. You're not giving him a chance. And you're saying Canelo cherry-picked him. That's crazy. With the amount of knockouts and the vicious knockouts that Edgar got. You guys are wilding. This is not an easy fight for Canelo. And it's especially going to be tougher because I think he's underestimating Edgar. So Edgar definitely can win that fight. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So let me light up this spliff and then get to the next fight. So, moving on to the UFC. I want to talk about the drama that's been going on with fucking Tom Aspinall and John Jones. Okay, so this is, alright, first of all, this is stupid that people are saying that John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall. Right? You got, first of all, everyone's saying that's fucking stupid, okay? There you go. I'll just say it like that. You guys are fucking stupid. John Jones clearly has a greater resume. And I don't know if he took steroids or not, because his brother took steroids. So maybe it runs in the family. But his brother plays football, so that's a different thing. But, you know, like, just to give credit where it's due for technique as a martial artist, because I am a martial artist. I'm not just a boxer. But John Jones, technique-wise and fight-wise, what I've seen from him, he is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Okay? Because this is mixed martial arts, okay? When it comes to everything, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, everything mixed together, he's clearly shown the best technique, okay? And I think GSP is close to him. Alright? But to say he's ducking Tom Aspinall is fucking stupid. Because what the fuck, bro? He's scheduled to fight Stipe Miocic, who has the most title defenses in heavyweight history. And is the heavyweight GOAT. I think, you know, John Jones won one fight at heavyweight. You can't say he's had a greater fucking heavyweight career because he's only had one fight in heavyweight. And no one's defended the belt more than Stipe, which he got 4 title wins. So what the fuck, bro? He's fighting someone who's a tougher challenge. I don't give a fuck if Stipe's been out for 3 years and he got knocked out in his last fight. I don't fucking care, bro. Because even in that fight, he rocked Francis Ngannou. And then he got fucking, you know, he went for the kill and then he got knocked out. Okay, so what? It's Francis Ngannou. But you gonna fucking play Stipe like that? That's fucking stupid as fuck. So yeah, shut the fuck up with all this John Jones ducking Tom Aspinall shit. That shit is fucking stupid. He can fight Stipe and then retire after, and then, you know, and like if he wins against Stipe and retires after, he's the greatest of all time, and it's clear. And then Tom Aspinall is gonna have to do a lot to surpass him. So yeah, I don't think I gave my prediction for Stipe versus John Jones. If I did, I'm going to give an updated prediction. I'm going to say John Jones wins by decision. And, you know, I got to say, I'm probably a bigger fan of Stipe, but, you know, like I said, I'm going to be unbiased here with these predictions. So I think John Jones is going to win a decision. I think it's going to be a great fight. But I think John Jones is going to clearly win 3 rounds at least. You know? If not, he's going to win 4-1. And I think he's just overall, you know, he got better technique. I think he's quicker. I think he's more athletic. I think he moves better. You know, I think maybe Stevie is a little more flat-footed. So I think John Jones is going to get the better of the striking. And then wrestling. With the wrestling, I think it's going to be pretty even. I think Stipe will get 3 takedowns and John Jones will get 1 takedown in the fight. But I think overall, John Jones is going to land more punches and leg kicks. And I think he's going to give him some trouble with leg kicks and all that shit. So that's my prediction for that fight. And shut the fuck out of here, all you Tom Aspinall fans who saying that John Jones is ducking him when he was already scheduled to fight the greatest heavyweight of all time. And I will give credit where it's due. Tom Aspinall is a fucking savage, and he's been knocking out great fighters like Pavlovich, who I thought had a great chance of winning the heavyweight title. And he still does someday. Pavlovich can come back and win the fucking heavyweight title, so don't sleep on him. But, you know, he fought the better man on the night. And, yeah, Tom Aspinall has been on a knockout rampage. I think he's KO'd the last 3 fighters in the first round. So look out for him. But I don't think Jones is ducking him. And he may even fight him after Stipe. But we got to see how that fight goes. Because Stipe might win. And then Stipe's going to be like, fuck you. All you motherfuckers that fucking doubted me. And just acting like fucking, you know, Jones is going to run through him. Get the fuck out of here. So, you know, Stipe's going to be talking all that shit like, fuck you, motherfuckers. And then he's going to be like, yeah, fuck you, Tom Aspinall. You over here just challenging John Jones like he's going to beat me. And then I think he's going to fucking, you know, I think he'll beat up Tom Aspinall if he wins against John Jones. So, yeah, what about that? So, yeah, look out for that. That's going to be fucking great. Those fights are going to be great. So, yeah, it's a great time to be a UFC fan. There's a lot of great fights coming up. And let's see where this goes, you know. The UFC is like a never-ending movie. It's like a fucking storyline that's really fucking dope because, you know, you get to see the progression of these fighters and see fighters lose and then come back and then avenge their loss and shit like that. So let's fucking go. 2024 has been a great year so far, and I think it's just gonna keep getting better. So yeah, that's all I got for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. This is This What It Is? And I'm your host, Gunvid.